everybody. I'm Helen, and this is the basics of sun salutation for people who are not strong enough to do the upper body work and would prefer to work on the knees. This is the fundamentals. So we'll begin in child's pose, bringing yourself down onto your mat on your knees, folding your body over the legs. And you can allow yourself to stay on your elbows. You can lift yourself up and wiggle around. It's important to know that not everybody fits in a pose like this just from walking in off the street. Lots of people need to be warmed up in the hips or in the knees in order to fold deeply in this place. So allow yourself to stay up and to stay moving. Allow yourself to take the knees wide apart, to go all the way to the floor with your forehead. It's a great way to open the hips and the back for people who do fit comfortably in this line. It's a nice way to ground, placing that forehead into the mat, maybe rocking it from side to side a little bit, settling in. But allow them, if you're a teacher, that not everybody can just settle in and be comfortable here. So let's reach the arms out to the front of the mat and peel your bottom up off of those heels. Bring yourself into the tabletop line and shift the weight back over your shins every chance you get. We don't want to wear out the wrists by bringing all the weight forward all the time. So as much as possible, take the weight off. And anytime you need to roll and move and wiggle the hands when we're in a knee down class, it's a great idea as well. More than one mat, 2, even 3 mats is a good idea. Or folding a mat over here near your knees or up here near your wrists to create a more stable base so that you can do the work. Lots of things that we do on the hands and knees can be done with fists as well. So as you're moving yourself into your cow and cat flow, beginning to open the spine next, and bringing awareness to where you're placing the weight and where you're beginning and ending the motion. So the bottom begins it in both directions, and the head comes in last, whether it's tucking or lifting. You are breathing with the motion of the spine. Inhaling as you come into the back bend is nice, and exhaling as you round, and inhaling again. So this is what vinyasa means, moving body with breath. So at the same length of the breath, we move. Always okay to pause and enjoy the sensation of a pose. You don't have to hold your breath there. Keep breathing. But we know when we bend the back up toward the sky, it's nice to be exhaling. So before we do that, we take a big inhale and maybe we spend a couple of breaths here in the cat. Take a moment to strengthen the shoulders, pull your fingerprints toward each other, bend your elbows, bring some of the weight around the hand. Not too much down into the hand, just enough that you can feel the arm muscles waking up, the armpits, the shoulders. Free that neck up. Bring yourself back and round. One more time, turn those fingerprints in. Push the hands magnetically toward each other. Bring your nose a little closer to the floor. See what happens. And come on up. We want strong arms. Exhale, round to do any kind of salutation work. So bringing your hands forward a little bit, it's a straight spine coming down between the arms, and push those hands against the floor one at a time. Just pressing, as if you were a lizard and you're walking up a glass wall. Activate a suction cup energy in your hands. Feel those fingerprints connecting with your mat and all that lovely work going on in your shoulders. Take a moment to check in with just one shoulder at a time and ask yourself if they're working the same way. So if you find a sluggish part, that's what we want to target. Find your thumb or your finger or the third, fourth, fifth finger just pressing down, checking in, can you feel that part of the shoulder engage? And then bring yourself back up to center and round that cat. Again, everything open and strong. Let's lift the feet up behind you and strengthen the sides of the body as well. Pushing the feet over to the right and maybe gazing back at them. Feel where your rib cage is. Can you push it in closer to the hip? There might be a little extra flesh there, but deep inside along the spine is muscle, so press in and then slide yourself on over to the other side. So breathing in and breathing out, always nice and slow and even through the nose if possible. Suck your tummy in, suck that side body in, squish it just a little bit more. Bring yourself back to center and round. So because we're working on the knee down version of a sun salutation, so this is something that you can give yourself at the beginning or at the end of a vinyasa class when you know there's going to be several of them. Warm yourself up or warm yourself down. Still going with the flow and feeling that lovely, wonderful motion of body and breath working together. So this would be plank, and we want to be able to come forward and make it a little more challenging as we work into the chaturanga, the push-up version here on the knees, and then coming back in again to plank. Now we were just in a puppy, so we know that shape already. That's going to be a major player. And we have also already taken the cobra. Push that belly down with the chest and the chin. This back bend is just as good as a cobra. Walk those hands forward a little bit more. Let's bend the elbows. See about hugging the ribs. Lengthening the neck. Soften. Come on back. And again, coming forward, bending the elbows just a little. An inch is enough. We've got a lot to do. Come on back, so we don't want to waste it all up front. Suck your tummy up and in, find your pelvic floor one more time here. And then push those hips down a little bit farther and inhale. You can pull your heels in, and that's basically an up dog. Suck your tummy in as you push those hips away. Find a nice wiggly plank. There's your child's pose again, and that is forward fold. So have a moment to enjoy it. We've put most of the parts together. And so now gently sucking in your tummy, rounding your spine, feeling the warmth of your body. Bring your hands in towards your knees. Lift your upper body up and away from the legs and squeeze the legs hard. Float yourself up. This is mountain. You can take some more space between your knees if you need it. If I'm too close together, this becomes harder. I want to feel that I can be flat here at the front. And it makes a lot of work happen in the bottom, which is very good. I don't want to lose that work, so I don't want too many inches. But it's okay to allow yourself some space so that you can feel these hips coming forward just a bit and back just a bit. Because back just a bit, there's our chair. Get the weight off the knees. Bring your shoulders back over the hips. Feel that work in the quads and come on up. So those are pretty intense chair poses. Let's inhale. Bring the arms up overhead and exhale, let everything come floating down. Inhale, squeeze your knees toward each other, squeeze your bottom. Exhale, let the arms come floating down. This is a vinyasa. We're inhaling as the arms come up. We're exhaling as the arms go down. Squeeze the legs, squeeze the bum, solidify the base. Exhale, let those arms come floating down. As we come up on the inhale breath, we'll pause at the top, turn those thumbs to the back. Take a moment to exhale your breath. On the next inhale, find the rib cage lifting, squeeze the bum, squeeze the legs. Pull your thumbs back a little bit. Check in with where your pinky fingers are and have everything actively pulling together there. And then exhale, bring cactus arms gently down. Inhale, reach up. Now I find this is pretty tough for me, and I have a very short spine. So bring those hands down and giving myself a little twist that's going to strengthen and lengthen the spine, and back into center and turn again. Notice how your right hip wants to come forward, but really it can't. The knees are on the ground. Your twist is not happening down here. It's happening up here. Muscles down here, making it supported and strong and healthy and safe. But we don't have to bring those hips with us. Bring yourself back to center now. And placing the hands on the hips, lift that left side body up. Depending on your proportions, you might have a block right here underneath you so that you can enjoy a deeper stretch. Bringing yourself back to center. That is a long way to go. It takes a lot of strength from these side body muscles. So don't feel that you ever have to drop the hand toward the floor or lift the other hand up. This wants to feel strong. This wants to feel open. Breathe in and breathe out. Squeeze your base, squeeze the bum, squeeze the legs, pull those knees toward each other. And what's your pelvic floor doing? Can you lift it up? Take a moment, shake things out. Let's sink back down into a little chair here. Keeping your shoulders back is good because if we push the bum back too far, too fast, we're going to put weight in the knees. We want to be able to come low in the chair, but we want to sit up in it as well. So wherever that feels right for you, and come on out. Those are pretty intense. All right, so when we come into the plank position, we need a forward fold before that. So those are the first few poses in a sun salutation. So we're usually in mountain. We're usually going to come up. We're usually going to sit in a chair. We're usually going to take a half forward fold, which is an L shape of the body. And then we're going to take a full forward fold, breathing in and breathing out. Now in a standing series, we'd be stepping the feet back to make our plank. Instead, we'll be sliding the hands forward and the bottom follows. And then bending those elbows. Now for the first few, we're going to come back into plank and take a gentle cow pose as we prepare the body. Good, and bring it back to plank, and then in again to the puppy, down dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Now in a standing class, the class would be pushing those feet toward the front of the mat pretty soon. So instead we're going to pull the knees and the hands toward each other and really strengthen the body, and then slide ourselves back. Everybody meets in a forward fold. From there, inhale all the way up we come to the mountain. And exhale, let your hands come floating down. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to the chair. Inhale to the half lift. Exhale to the forward fold. Inhale, sliding hands forward, finding plank. Breathe in, breathe out, get set up. Elbows bending, hug the ribs. Push back, take your bending spine with the calf. Hands sliding forward again, finding plank. And then easing on back into downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Squeeze those knees toward the hands, hands toward the knees. Slide yourself into the forward fold. Suck in that stomach, squeeze the legs, wings back. Inhale, arms all the way up, finding mountain. Exhale, hands come floating down. One more like that, and then we'll try to add that up dog in. So inhale, reach up. Exhale to the chair. Inhale to the half lift. Exhale to the forward fold. Inhale, find your plank. Exhale there, make it strong. Inhale, bend the elbows. Exhale, push it back for a moment. Inhale, take that back bend. Exhale, suck the tummy up and in, finding plank. And puppy, enjoy yourself stretching there. Nice and easy, slide yourself forward into plank again, and we'll set ourselves up for that up dog before we work the flow. So we've got a couple of things happening here. We want bent elbows because we're moving into a chaturanga. So the posture happens or starts very close to the ground. And then we're pushing the hips and squeezing the bum and lifting the heart and lifting the throat. And that's plenty. Can the shoulders come out of the ears? And this might intensify the squeezing of the back, lifting those feet up a little bit. Take them back down again before you push out. One more time, let's pull ourselves forward. Bend the elbows just a little and push the hips toward the floor, suck the stomach in. Get the shoulders out of the ears and onto the back a bit. Now, most people are not very strong in the front of the body, so squeeze that belly in first, push the hips away, find your plank, take your time, all the way down into the puppy we go. Have a moment there, rub your forehead on the ground if it fits. Elbows might need to be on the ground in a puppy pose for you. We'd like to have the hips right over the knees and a long spine, lots of space to breathe into. All right, nice and slow, walk yourself back up toward your hands toward your knees, and we'll come right on up into that knee, down, mountain, exhale. Hands come floating down. Have a moment. Will your shoulders, fingers, check in with yourself. All right, so this time we'll be staying forward in the plank, adding the up dog, and so that's optional. If it pinched your back too much, just come on back and take a cow pose. Very easy. We all know what to do now. So inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, bottoms down into the chair. Let's hold this one for an extra breath. So take that next exhale to the fold. And hold this one for a breath or two. And inhale, slide yourself forward, find a plank. Take a moment. Suck that stomach in, squeeze the legs, squeeze the bottom. push into your up dog if you're choosing it, bending those elbows good and strong. Suck that tummy in to push out. Take as much time as you need. We will all find our way into puppy. Bring the forehead to the ground. Wiggle your bottom a little bit. Nice and easy, slide yourself into child's pose. Bring your bum to your heels and your hands toward your legs. Drop that forehead to the ground if it feels good, but we're not staying here very long. We've got 2 more. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the legs. Reach for the sky. Exhale, hands come floating down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to the chair. Inhale, I forgot that half lift on the last one. There we go. Exhale to the child. Inhale to the plank. Bend those elbows, find that up dog. Squeeze the bum. Suck that tummy in. We move on an inhale breath. And exhale, slide yourself into the puppy. Exhale again to the chair. Inhale, squeeze those legs, lift yourself up to the sky. Exhale, have a moment, hands come floating down. 1 more, inhale. Have that chair. On the next exhale breath, check in. Can you sit a little deeper and not feel the weight in your knees this time? Feel how strong those legs are getting. Half lift, slide that tummy up, flat back. And full forward fold, sinking into the child's pose. Inhale, slide yourself into the plank. Bend those elbows, pull the heels in if they're pulling. Pull that chin up, press the rib cage forward. Squeeze your bum. Take a nice moment here. Find strength from the front of your body to push the body away. Have a moment to wiggle. Slide yourself into the puppy. Breathe in and breathe out. Push one hand and the other against the floor. Feel your shoulders again. Notice them. Slide those hands partway in. Turn the hands toward each other as your body comes to table. Bend the elbows. Squeeze the hands toward each other. Take a moment. Shake things up. So you might be back in child's pose. I'm back up again in mountain, working on my wrists, wiggling my hands and my fingers. But if you need to catch up with your breath, absolutely have your moment, wherever it feels good for you. We're all coming back into tabletop position now. Sucking in your stomach, noticing. So this becomes the half forward fold. Usually we've got this prop on our body. We can push against the legs with our hands in a standing half lift to get that back to be really flat. And so taking a moment to just notice yourself, lengthen the spine, push the hips away from the ribs, and it's not a back bend. We don't need to be collapsing. We want to be bright and up with the back of the body, but still focusing on where's that flat line of the spine. And can I find all the muscles deep inside of me, right in front of the spine? Can I pull up into the back of the bowl without rounding the spine? Yes. And squeeze the knees together. Find that pelvic floor. Try to squeeze the bottom as well. And you can activate those feet a little bit if you like in planks and half lifts. Working the legs pretty hard so you can make that choice here also. Exhale. All right, so when we work our way into a full forward fold or into a sun salutation class, we're going to be coming up against some down dogs and transitions to the front of the mat. So let's lift the left leg up behind and keep your toes pointed down at the ground. So you the back of the leg and find where that hip wants to line up. We'd like the heel to be high, but look what's happening to my back. It's not a straight line. Finding mountain, and so toe down while you line up that spine, and then seeing, well, what feels right so that the leg can still be squeezing strong, but I'm not crimping or pinching back, and that toe is still turning down toward the ground. Now in a down dog, we'd be a little bit more forward with the hands. So you can give that a try if you like to see how that feels. And you might choose elbows down to do it. Keep trying to turn those toes inward. So feeling that dog line there. And take a moment, shake that out. Bringing the knee toward the nose and kicking it back a few times. Strengthening the front of the hip. Take it out to the shoulder a few times. Nice and easy. Good. Back we come to center. Shake yourself from side to side. So let's take that on the other side, lifting that leg up, finding the line. That takes a little bit of play, and allow yourself to play. Noticing when your toes are trying to turn away, that's actually your hip trying to lift and turn away, because the muscles along that inner thigh line can do their work, turning the toes toward the ground, and maybe you're up higher than you need to be. Find that crimp line, stretch yourself, get ready, nice and easy. And so feeling the lift and the tightness along that line of the body. You can walk your hands forward or come down onto your elbows. Slippery floor. And push your bum away from your ribs. Think about what the down dog is. This lengthening of the spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice and easy. Knee to the nose a few times. Give it a shake. Out to that shoulder. All right, bring that leg back down again, and your hips come side to side. So, in a tabletop position, we work that posture in the bird dog pose. Bring your left leg up behind you, and your right arm forward. So now try to push your hand into the imaginary floor. Find your down dog, shoulder, arm, hand alignment. And see if you can bend that left elbow just an inch, coming in a bit deeper. Bring it back to center. Other side, right leg is lifting, left arm is lifting. Pull that bird dog, pull the heel away from the hands first. Suck in your stomach, create length along the spine. Nice and easy. And you come in a little deeper. Push your hand into that imaginary down dog line. Bring yourself back into the center and wiggle around. Get comfortable. All right, so the next pose that we do in a series, usually in a flowing series, we're moving to the front of the mat. We're going to get there next. But we also lift the hip in a down dog line. And so we'd like to work on that as well. So it starts with straight out to the side. And for you, it might not come up very far. Just feel that wall of resistance you're bumping into and allow yourself to bump into it. And see if you can lift it a little higher, breath by breath. But what we're really working on is getting that hip lifted. So try different ways to get there, because you might not have the space here, but a little bit back you might. We want to find a way to make that happen. It's not about the leg at all. Use the leg as a tool to help you get that hip square. And here on the ground, we can also get the heart square and a little bit of lift toward the sky very easily. And if you want to reach back and grab your foot, this is partridge. But in a down dog line, This is the peeing dog. So see if you can take yourself down onto your elbows. Nice and easy. Shake that leg out. And to the other side we go. Lifting the knee up and down a few times. Find the spot that works for you. Strengthen it first. Bump into the place where the outer leg is tight. If it's here in the hip, you're bumping into bone. There's nothing you can do about that. Move out of your way. But there's also going to be this place where, oof, it's just so hard to lift through. So hold at that spot. Breathe there. It'll get stronger. And maybe your leg has to be all the way out of the way before those hips can come up. Breathe in and breathe out. When you find your spot, you might choose to lift the right arm to the sky. You might choose to reach back and grab hold of that foot. Suck the stomach in, even though you may be bending the back here. Pushing the heart forward and pulling the belly in are two different things. Nice and easy. Untangle the bend first. Bring yourself back into tabletop. Shake it up. From here, we're usually moving from the back of the mat to the front of the mat. In the sun salutation class, we need to be able to do that skillfully as well. So left leg up and back behind you, and then thread it through to the front of the mat. Have a moment to check out your space, but just one moment, because we want to do that 3 more times. Take it back, bring it forward. Take it back, bring it forward. Take it back, bring it forward. And now, see if you fit a little better. Let's give this hamstring a little stretch. Been on our knees for a long time. So for me, I'm anchoring the heel and I'm anchoring through my fingertips. And I can bring quite a lot of weight over the leg. Makes for a very nice stretch along this line. Some people might need to be up a lot higher to get a stretch that's not quite so anxious. Try not to put weight down on your knee, into your heel and up toward your hip and down into the grounding leg. And some people are just so bendy, they can sink right back down into the heel and put their forehead on their knees here with a straight leg. I can get half of that puzzle done, but not the rest. Feels awfully nice though to stretch that hamstring if we're kind about it. So be kind. Come on up again, find your low lunge. Hand can come up to the front knee to get yourself to the sky. Inhaling and reaching up, finding a crescent shape. So squeeze the legs together below you. Get some power in the base. Let's take our hands to our heart and turn, look over the shoulder. Keep squeezing those legs toward each other. Most especially noticing that back leg pulling forward. Nice and easy, untangle the twist and inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come down and they're going to come to the inside line of this front leg. Push your leg against your shoulder here so you can feel the crease activating. So a lot of people are falling away in this position and we want them in snug. Squeeze that back knee toward the front heel. Just activate this line. Soften and squeeze again. Now lift your left hand up and place it on your back. You can move your right hand into a fist in a little closer. We don't want the knee to fall away, so lengthen your torso and think about the right shoulder coming in a little bit closer to that knee. And then can you lift your arm to the sky? Pushing the knee into the rib cage. Squeeze the legs toward each other. Lift, lift. And bring that hand back down. We're going to take it to the outside edge of the left foot Wiggle yourself into a place that's comfortable and transition to the high lunge, which is knees off the ground. And so fists, if you need them, squeezing that back leg really strongly. Try that twist again from here. So whether the knee is down or not, we want to be able to recreate the experience for all of our students. And hardcore students are working hard. So nice and easy. Drop that heel down behind you. Take your hand to your knee, and we're going to come up and turn the front foot so you're facing the side of your mat, and I'm going to turn. Try not to forget that I've turned. And so we're here facing sideways, taking that 5-pointed star for a moment. Pull your wings off to the T-line and roll your arms and shoulders around a little bit. We're going to be moving into Warrior 2, so we'd like to know that we're ready there. We're going to be doing Warrior 1, so let's have a little twist here to prep what that upper body can do. Squeeze the lower body hard. Back into center. Squeeze it again. Turning to the left. Back into center. Good job. Take a moment. Shake things around. Move your toes off to the sides if they need it. It's always okay to do that. Give yourself a little space. All right. So it's left foot forward for you to do the Warrior 1 pose. Turn your foot, your hip, your whole leg into a place where that posture fits better. We don't want to just believe we have to make one maneuver and eventually someday we're going to look like the pictures. We have to move our body into a place that it fits. And now notice the similarities between the low crescent lunge. Everything is exactly the same except for below the knees. Breathe in, breathe out, squeeze those legs together if you can. Feel, does that make that base even more supported? Now when we open into Warrior 2, adjust your position again. It doesn't have to be a big adjustment, but being in pain, crimping in the joints doesn't make sense either. Float those arms up, nice and easy. Take your left hand, right hand down your right leg and lift that arm toward the sky. Reach up. So your left arm reaching, your shoulder and ear, you've got lots of space there. Pull that ribcage away from the hip. Good job. Come on back to center. Turn those feet to the side of the mat again and take yourself down into the goddess. Breathe in and breathe out. Now we're going back down to the floor because we've got to do that on the other side. So hands to the hips. Draw those hips in behind you. Turn your feet forward for a moment and enjoy a fold if you like. Easy and slow, turn yourself back toward the front of the mat. Take a moment, walk the feet back one at a time. Your knees can go down as soon as you need them to, but if you're exploring the full plank, go ahead. Breathe in and breathe out. We've done a lot of back bending, we don't need much more, but if you'd like to strengthen the up dog line, squeeze your legs hard, push your heels away, and just put your hips down a couple of inches, and up a couple of inches, and down a couple of inches. Soft elbows, no rib cage collapsing toward the floor, lots of space in the joint as you move in and out. If you're taking an exploration through the down dog, lift those hips toward the sky, give it a walk. Breathe in, breathe out. Easy and slow, knees come toward the floor. Slide sliding your hips back into a child's pose if you need it, reaching your arms forward into a puppy if you'd enjoy that, staying right where you're at. What's your body telling you it needs? One more side to do. So let's get ready. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're moving that right leg to the front of the mat. So lift it and push it through. Come forward and back a few times. Stretching into that hip a little bit, but not too much. We know we've got a good one coming up, and we want to prepare first. So that leg is going back and forward, and back and forward, and back and forward again, nice and easy. And now we get the hamstring stretch. Our hip is strong enough at the front. So you can come up, if you like, and pull that heel out and away and ground a little bit through that chest, through the fingers, whatever you need. Don't allow your low back to be carrying your weight here. Your arms are perfectly useful in this moment to help you hold the weight of the chest, the shoulders, the head. Just push those fingers against the ground wherever you are. And some of you are able to go a lot deeper, and I hope that you're enjoying that hamstring stretch wherever it is for you. We would like to have the front leg straight, but even if you are way up high and it still needs to be bent, we're thinking about this back line of the leg. So try to get into a place where you can give it a little bit of a stretch. Be easy on yourself. Nice and slow. Come on back into that crescent shape. And inhale, arms up overhead. So chest is forward comfortably and easily because the hips are square with each other. Squeeze the legs toward each other. Pull that rib cage up just a little bit more. Hands to heart center and turn. Because in a standing warrior one, this hip can't always come forward. And so we want the chest to come forward, which means exaggerate a little bit here. And back into center. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, the hands will come down on the inside edge of this leg and press. Press the knee against the shoulder. Right away, you feel your upper inner thigh at the crease activated. So pulling those back knees toward the front heel is also very helpful. Soften and squeeze again. One more soften and squeeze. And then let's pull that right arm up to the low back. Turn the torso so you can lift up and lengthen if that's what you need. We want to create as much space in the spine for twisting as we can. And not everybody's going to get that hand straight up out over the shoulder. But just because mine can go back, 12 o'clock is the game. So push that shoulder and knee toward each other here. Squeeze the legs together. And easy and slow. Come on down. And then we'll take that high lunge. Squeezing the back leg, breathing in and out. So if you know that you need to be working on the knees, work on the knees. That's why we've done all this knee work. We'd like to build into the standing practice, but we'd like to know that we have permission to take a while to do that. Let's have our twist here as well. Draw that right shoulder toward the sky, right hand to your low back. Lift up. Easy and slow. Hand comes down. We are moving again into the star pose, so turning your feet, anchoring, and sliding yourself up and away from the floor. Get those feet in a comfortable position with the toes facing straight ahead, outer walls of the feet pressing down. And let's inhale, arms up overhead. right hand to your right leg. Enjoy a side stretch here. Squeeze the legs together. Lift the toes a little bit. Anchor into the mat and come on over to the other side. Breathe in and breathe out. Easy does it. Back to center. Have a moment in the goddess shape. We've worked these hips and legs so hard. We don't need too much. Just feel where you're at there in your seat. And then come on up and form that warrior one shape. Bringing the right foot facing forward. Chest facing forward. Hearts up, arms up, shoulders down the back. So because we did that twist, this is easy, regardless of where your hips are. It's supposed to feel good all the way through the joints. So if you feel you need another little twist, take it. Inhaling, reaching, stretching up with the ribs, down with the shoulders, and up with the fingers. Lots of energy going in all the directions here. Now we're moving into the warrior two. So again, adjust your legs. Make yourself comfortable. We don't have to be too far apart. We'd rather be in the right lines with everything. So if your shoulder is forward on that back leg, bring it back over the leg. What's happening in this front knee as you're falling in? Anchor it through the heel. That's all straight on up to the top of the mat. There's a big stretch going on that inner thigh. And then the arms come out to the T position. So you might need to look around. Are you sure? You're in the T line. And then pull your gaze over that longest finger. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the legs hard. The forward hand is coming up toward the sky. Lift that rib cage up just a little bit. Feel the space there between your hips and your ribs. But drop it down from your shoulder and your ear. Spread the fingers wide apart. The hand is reaching even though the shoulder is pulling away. There's a little tug of war going on there all the time. And then back into center we come. Take a moment. Easy does it. Down into your goddess. And we're going to be moving to the front of the mat this time. So let's turn those toes forward for a moment and have the half lift here with the legs wide apart, or a full forward fold if you want it. Bending the knees might feel good. Bringing awareness into your breath. Letting everything settle for just a second. Bend those knees, bottoms forward, hearts up. Inhale, arms to the sky. Hands to heart center, and you can turn back to the front of the mat and just step in. Shake it out. Here we are in mountain. So if this is a class, or if you are a person with a body that does not need another sun salutation, don't. If you don't want one, don't. There's a big difference between the yoga we need and the yoga we want, and so if you want one, that's where we're going. But we're going right down to the floor after that. So when I say let's step down into the plank, you might be stepping into child's pose, enjoying a puppy, enjoying yourself, while everyone else flows through the full sun salutation one time. Find that chest and heart lifting back while the body comes into the awareness. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the legs, soften the knees. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, bottoms down into the chair, flat back. Squeeze the legs, pull those hips back just a little bit. No pressure on the knees at all. Everything should be feeling pretty good and strong there. Slide your hands up over your quads, hearts high, shoulders back. Take the half forward fold, bend your knees if you need it. So find that long line of the spine. Notice all the work that we did in the cobra-esque tabletop line. How strong you made yourself in the tabletop long planks. Breathe in and breathe out. Bend the knees, roll that rib cage into the legs, hands to the floor. Lift your bum just a little. Shake your head, yes. Shake it out. Walk your feet over to the right a little. Open up that left hip and side body. Maybe your legs are straight, maybe not. Ease into the other side. Bend the knees. Step one foot back and the other into plank. So if you're going to your knees, this is a good time. You can also go to your knees just to take that chaturanga. Bend your elbows a little bit. Breathe in and breathe out. If you're finding that up dog, flip your feet over. Knees down is just fine. With that heart. Pull the chest and chin up. Pull shoulders down. Bend your elbows. Knees to the ground. Shift your bottom back. Stretch into puppy if that's what you want. Or up into the downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice and slow. Place your knees on the ground and your bottom over your heels. And your knees can go wide apart. And you'll bring your forehead down to the floor into the child's pose. Easy does it. Slide yourself up. One knee after another will come forward to the front of the mat. You can crisscross your feet. Float over your heels or roll on over onto a hip, whatever feels good, and then take yourself into the seated staff pose, which is exactly the same pose as the half forward fold and exactly the same pose as the down dog. We'd like to have that tailbone back rather than the spine, and so bent elbows, or bent knees rather, might be your thing to do. Pull your chest and heart forward. Try to find the mountain line through the spine. And if you'd like to find the down dog line through your arms and your shoulders, you can explore that as well. Head and neck should be comfortable. Shoulders and chest should have lots of space, lots of easy space. Find those fingers and stretch them out strong because that's what's pushing into the ground, not the wrists. And then soften, take a moment, bend your legs, boat pose. So this is chair. You can lift your toes up off the ground and imagine the floor is there as you lean back, grounding through the heels. All of the work should be happening on the top of the legs, and they should be very ready for it. Even though they may be tired from all the work they've done, easy does it. In and out, you can row that boat a little bit. Sitting a little deeper into your chair. That's a forward fold. Down go the shoulders. Back we come to the forward fold. Open it up into the chair. Back we come into the fold. One more time, take a moment and hold here, and you can lift your feet, you can take a little walk, you can do whatever you like. For 3, 2, 1. Roll yourself down onto your back in a way that feels good. Shoulders down, heads down, hips down, feet down, knees bent and up in the bridge alignment, tilting the pelvis a couple of times. Push your head into the mat, smile, soften your face. And on the next breath, squeeze your bum, lift your hips away from the floor. You don't have to come very high. You want to feel the stretch on those quads. They've worked so hard, they deserve it. But hey, wait, everything is still working really hard in the bum and in the back of the legs. Soften, and easy does it. Bring those hips up again.
Slowly down. And one more time up. Squeeze your bum. Pull your ankles magnetically toward each other. Feel that lovely tightening. And as you soften here, you'll walk the feet away from each other so that the knees can fall in a little bit. And squeeze and lift there. My bottom does not feel like it comes very far up off the ground. It's a few inches. A lot of work happening in the inner thighs and lovely stretching across the front of the hips. Soften. One more squeeze and push. And down we go, and up, squeeze and push. Open, walk the feet in closer to each other, knees wide apart. Find the dimples on the side of your cheeks, work there. Float down and float up. Float down and float up. Easy does it, hips all the way down. Bring your right ankle to your left knee and lift both legs up. Tuck your hands in underneath your bottom. And push that left leg against the right foot as hard as you want. Feel that lovely stretch on the outer ankle or outer hip. You can push the ankle against the knee as hard as you like as well. Let's switch to the other side. Press. Use the strength of your leg to push its partner in toward the chest. Finding a place where it's a lovely stretch on the hip and on the bum. Ease those heels on up to the sky and stretch out through the back of the legs. If you'd like a little more abdominal work, you can lift those fingers up and tap your toes one at a time. Lift, lift, reach, reach. If it hurts your back, you don't belong here. Put that head down, put the hands underneath the hips. Come into a chest and chair line. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those knees in toward the chest. And out to the drawbridge we go. Hands should be wedged right up in underneath your body like a hammock or a stretcher or a bowl. Suck that tummy down and push your heels away. Squeeze your legs. Bend the knees. Wrap yourself up. Have a hug. Now the front of the legs, those quadriceps want, need, and deserve a good stretch. So bring your right heel to the floor as close to your bottom as it can go. And you might need your hand to help you. Your left leg can do whatever feels right. I'm putting my left foot on the ground like a bridge as well, but farther away so I can see what it feels like today. Sometimes my Achilles tendon doesn't want that much of a stretch. Bring your hands to the ground, your shoulders and your head anchor, and then slowly lift your bottom. And you're pushing that knee forward. Squeeze the bum. Can you come up a little bit higher and have that quadriceps stretch in a nice way? Pull yourself back down. So, other side, we want to plant and ground the foot. We want a strong partner wherever your right foot needs to go so that the left foot hips, so that your body doesn't feel fear. Then we know we're probably in a pretty good line. Even though once you lift up, your body might say, yeah, that's a bad idea. That's okay. We don't want to go up and hold. We want to explore slowly, lift a millimeter at a time and feel. I'm shifting the weight toward my shoulders and head to take the pressure off that Achilles tendon, but I can come up a few inches higher because squeezing the bum, squeezing the hamstring. And I've got this lovely long stretch across the quads. If it hurts the low back, Come down a little bit, or suck your stomach in. Pull that pelvic floor in. Are you actually protecting your back here? Down we come. Knees up, wiggle. Kick your heels toward the sky again. Hands tuck in underneath you. Find your drawbridge. And we're going to have a little bit more stretching and twisting before we relax. So when you bend your knees, put your feet down on the floor wide away from each other, wide apart from each other. Knees are bent, comfortable wide bridge. Arms out to the T-line is always good. Anchoring the upper back when you're taking a twist is a good idea. And then we're going to put the left knee down near the right foot. And you can let that right leg fall open if you want. We're working the left. So squeeze the left butt cheek and push the left hip forward and push the left knee farther. Down toward the floor and out toward the toes of the other foot. So the leg is squeezing hard, but you're getting an awesome stretch on the outside line of that leg and hip. Release. Come on over to the other side. So the knee falls toward the opposite foot. Let the opposite leg fall away if you like. Don't torque the joints. You're not supposed to be feeling uncomfortable here. Is your foot in the wrong place for your knee to be at ease? Allow yourself to adjust. We want the power to squeeze the muscles and deepen into the shape. So pushing the knee toward the ground and toward the toes and opening up that outer hip. Don't let your shoulders leave the floor. Easy does it. Back to center we come. Wobble the knees from side to side. Pick one up, then the other. Give yourself a good squeeze. Have a floating twist if you want one. Drop your feet to the floor. Close your eyes and relax. Stretching yourself out in a long, straight line. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice how hard you worked. So we tend to believe that advancing yoga, or yoga that actually works, is pretty strong and powerful and involves advanced positions. But we can be strong and powerful in every position if we choose. And what that does is even the playing field. So that everyone who is in your class, young and old, beginners and advanced, can benefit in the same way and experience the same thing. Working from the knees is not less, not really. But for most people it's safer. And so they can do more and last longer. Feel your joints. You know if you put too much pressure on them. Feel your muscles. You'll feel, hopefully, the reminder of your
Being stronger should always be celebrated for what it is. Being sore tomorrow doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're strengthened. And that's it. And so notice the ribs and the sides of your body and how we prepared you today for a more powerful class next time. When we work progressively, or ask our students to work progressively, intelligently, when they can actually own their planks and their chaturangas and their down dogs, they can do that without risk. They look so much more beautiful and comfortable, and they feel that way too. Empowered rather than frustrated. I want every student to leave my class feeling successful. In my opinion, that is an all levels class. So wherever you are, watching this and practicing, probably alone, just imagine yourself for a moment in a yoga room with students all around you, all breathing together. Make your inhale and exhale a little more full as you catch and contribute to that wave. My breath meets your breath, and your breath, and yours. Now wiggle your fingers and your toes. Find a smile. Turn your head from side to side. Start stretching and moving on the mat. You can reach your hands up overhead, up to the sky, out to the sides, wherever it feels good. When you're ready to pull your knees into your chest, wrap yourself up for a big hug, have that too. Spending a moment on your left side. If you'd like to spend some time on the side, that's very good for you. Using your hands, whatever you need, pushing yourself up off of the floor, finding your way into a seated position. Any comfortable seat will do. Add a pillow underneath your bottom. We want those hips up higher than the knees and a downward flow through the legs for the most comfortable alignment of the pelvis so that we can find our mountain Let's inhale, arms up, overhead. And exhale, down in front of the heart. Thank you so much for playing and practicing with me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.